today I'm going to be doing a couple little things, tying some stuff together on this boat. And I first want to apologize for these daggum bugs, man. I don't really think about it when I'm out here because I'm just used to it, but then when I get to editing a video, it's just so freaking loud. But it's nothing I can really do about Mother Nature. Alright, so today what I'm going to do is install some dinghy wheels, and that's what they're called. I didn't come up with that. Now these things, you see pictures of them, but you don't realize how freaking big they are. Look how these things are giant. I ordered these from Railzilla, and that's who actually makes them. And they're supposed to be really good. They're like, I want to say like 150 bucks, $160 for the pair. And they come unassembled. These are already assembled because I got bored one day and just did it. But basically what it is this mounts to the back of your transom. And it's got a little locking pin on the side. And you flip it, and it allows these to come up or down, and then you lock it again and it'll stay in place. That way you can either have them in the up position where they're not rolling on the ground out of the way, to flip them down so you can roll your boat on the ground. That way you don't drag your boat everywhere. Specifically, you know, for boats like this is just going to go in the back of my truck. You know, anytime I've ever used this boat before, I've just had to like drag it around, you know, on the gravel or whatever it is, and it's not very good for your boat. So these should come in very handy. The one downfall that I have seen already is how these are going to have to mount. It'd be better if you had a little bit more length to it. These aren't specifically made for John boats. I think they're made for, well, dinghies is what they're made for. That's why they're called dinghy wheels. But we're going to make them work. The wheel is separate, and it's got like a little pin that goes in here. They're fairly easy to put together. I mean, it'll take you all of 10 minutes to put these things together. So it's not a real big deal that I didn't include that in this video. So, all right, let's get to putting these things on the transom. Let me show you guys real quick what I was talking about with the mounting location. If I would have thought, I should have went ahead and took these handles off. That would have helped me out a little bit, because right now I can't have these wheels straight up and down, and I mean, unless I have them side by side right here. If you put it all the way up, I can't have these wheels to where they're all the way up, because the wheel itself will hit the boat. Like if you push it all the way up here, well, when you flip it down, it's going to be hitting the bottom of the boat. The wheel is. So it's going to have to be in this next notch. Which kind of sucks in a way, because it's pushing the wheel out further from the boat. But in that position, it's clearing the boat, and the wheel will be on the ground. I've kind of been messing around with it, trying to see where I could put them, and I think my best option will be to put them right below these handles on each side, because that way, when they're deployed like down, it gives you probably 6 inches of clearance of the wheel, and then when it's up, it's you know, a good bit out of the way. Usually when I put this boat in the back of my truck, I slide this in first, the back end of the boat first. What I've seen a lot of people do that run these wheels, they will put the front of the boat in first and like towards the cab, which is fine. You know, I've added some weight to the front deck, and you know, you just got to make sure you get your boat strapped in there good, because you don't want the butt end of it to fall down, especially if you got a shorter bed truck like I do. But we're going to make it work anyways. Now, these things come with some pretty decent instructions on how to put the wheels themselves together, and also how to mount them on your boat. It also comes with a template, which is just a sheet of paper, and you cut it in two, and these are the exact sizes of the mounting brackets themselves. So what we need to do now is figure out exactly where we're going to put them. Like I said, I'm kind of cheating in a way, because I can use these handles, and what I'm going to do is just going to kind of pull some measurements and make sure that they're exactly the same on both sides, and then we can use our measurements to line up where our template's going to go. Then we can tape the templates on, and then it has where we need to drill our holes at. All right, let's do it. Alright, so now we got to take the wheel off the bracket. It's pretty easy to do. You just take this, push it down, flip it up. There we go. And you take the bracket off the wheel. Now we can mount the bracket. It's got this little lock and unlock symbol. It says to put that on the inside of the boat. And we're going to go ahead and glob up some marine sealant in all these holes. Well, I got them on, and it should have been a lot easier than what it was. And the reason that it sucked is because I'm dumb. So if you're dumb like me, let me go ahead and let you know something. Those bolts aren't long enough to go through a wooden transom. They're almost exactly flush with it, which really wouldn't have helped me out even if they were longer, because they hit right too close to this edge. So as you can see, I had to notch it out. That way I could get my washers on there and get a real flat surface. All I had to do is pull some measurements and then realize that I needed to drop it down like another inch. Now it would have been fine. But I got it done and it's on there. Ain't nothing a little touch-up paint won't fix. I got some spots where I got overspray anyways. I'm gonna have to break out the gray again. So, well, that project is done. I'm not going to try them out today. The first time I actually try them out, I guess, is when I actually take the boat out. So, alright, on to the next step. Alright, next little project on the agenda for this boat is installing a latch in this front deck hatch I made. I looked around at Home Depot. I couldn't find anything I liked. Everything was just like crap for cabinets. So what I ended up doing is ordering one off Amazon. I think it was like 16 bucks, and it's pretty low profile, which was what I was wanting, and it's just got a little pull thing that sits flush. There's 4 bolts, 4 screws to hold it down. And I'm just gonna put it right in the middle towards the back of the hatch, and I'm gonna have to cut this part out, the little recess part, and that should be it. I mean, I'm gonna turn it upside down and then mark it out, because I want this to sit like kind of flush with the hydroturf. I don't want the whole thing sitting on top of the flooring. I want it to be a little bit recessed in there, and then of course cut out this part. All right, let's get to it.
All and I wonder what's gonna come of me. I see a dark cloud rising, and I wonder what's gonna come of me. And now, when I die, won't you please remember me?
Alright, got most of my mess cleaned up, I think. Who'd have thought it'd take every tool known to man to put in one little latch? But I guess that's par for the course with me. Anyhow, here it is. There ain't nothing special about it, but it works. It don't lock or twist or anything. I didn't want it. I mean, it's heavy enough. It's not just gonna like pop out going down the road or anything. So that should be fine. Alright, I was digging around in the garage getting stuff ready for this boat tomorrow to take it fishing, and I stumbled across these. I ended up installing them right here, and they almost work perfect. And what I did is these bolts for the wheels, how they stick out so much, it has enough to go in the hole, and then just kind of give it a little lean to it, and it rests perfectly on this little transom. So I'll show you what I did. I had to waller this little hole out a little bit. Alright. Clean it up a little bit. And that is so I can get a 7/16 nut through there to tighten up that bolt right there. So, go ahead and mount this one. Now, to be able to do this, like I don't have enough thread, like the bolt, the nut will push all the way down in there, see how it's like recessed, and it won't be able to grab a hold of the thread, so I'm doubling it up. Just having that first bolt act like a little spacer for me. And I'm also putting little 2 washers on that bolt just to kind of kick it out a little bit. Make it a little more flush. And for the top, I'm just using one of these zinc plated self-tapping screws. There we go. 2 easy rod holders. Alright, one last thing I'd like to talk about is my rod holder. Now, I did a video on that foam thing I made, and I just couldn't live with it. It was bothering me too much. It was ugly as sin. So I knew it was going to be a little bit before I actually got to the next step. I went ahead and ordered 3 more rod tubes, and I'm using that for the butt of the rods. And then I took a piece of that same foam that I had, that I made the back end out of originally, and I drilled 3 holes in it and then put little notches in it to where the rods can go in there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now you slide your rod in the front tube, then push it in the notch here, then it can go back into this tube. Just like that. I don't think they're going anywhere. I secured this right here down with just some RTV, and it seems to be pretty stout, and I think it's going to work. I didn't put any on the bottom because I didn't want to really mess that foam up in case this right here didn't work out for me. But that is that. I think it looks a lot better now. I cut these tubes, I think 11 inches, so I didn't have to drill all the way through, so it was a lot easier to do. And also with what was left over, I went ahead and extended these tubes, how they're going up, and I said they're a little short. I added the extra amount to those, and that way I ain't got to worry about these eyelets catching the end of the tube. Now it goes all the way towards the front of the boat, and that should be fine. but I like this a whole lot better than that foam I had back here. Well, you know, a couple crisp projects that should be easy that weren't as easy as I thought. That's about how all this boat building crap goes for me. But that's pretty much it for this boat. Next step is to take it out. There is a couple things I'd like to do. That deck lid, I want to put some kind of like hinge on it, because right now it'll open all the way up and it'll hit the rails, and I don't want that happening. I don't want to scratch the paint. So even just like a little chain or something that I could hook to it somehow. I should have done that before I hydro turfed it, but I brain fart and I totally forgot. But I'll figure something out. It doesn't have to be much, but I'm planning on trying to take it out tomorrow. I got a rest day from working out, thank goodness, and the weather's supposed to be pretty decent, and I've got one of my favorite spots that I haven't fished in probably 2 years, mainly because I got so big into just, you know, using my big boat, and I got away from using a little pond hopper boat. So I'm kind of excited about it. It's full of grinnell. Like I said, I haven't fished it in a couple years, and hopefully I can land some fish in the not so new but sort of new to me boat. Well, all right, that's going to wrap up this video. The next video will be me going fishing in it, complete overview of the boat. I appreciate you guys watching. See you on the next one.